Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Raw report for this past Monday, which actually, let me just get the date here. Don't have it in front of me. I think it was the 16th. Yeah, 16th of November. I continue to think that Raw is a touch and go show, and for the most part, the fact that they actually did something historic in a title change is a good thing. I, however, am not necessarily a fan of the show overall. Outside of that, the announcers plugged the title match from the beginning, which is smart. Tom Phillips, who is generic announcer number 873, says this is worthy of WrestleMania. Not interesting. Drew McIntyre enters. He's in street clothes. They recap his appearance on SmackDown. McIntyre says the Survivor Series is a Thanksgiving tradition, and he loved Thanksgiving. He's from Scotland, so why would he love Thanksgiving? He's thankful for his family and friends who isn't, and then he can lean on them and lean on the fans. He asked the fans if they were ready to see him Claymore kick Orton's head off and regain the championship. They cheer. He talks about Reigns and claims that Reigns only cares about himself. This is true. He says Reigns put himself on a pedestal above all others, and that he has his own head shoved up his backside. Obviously, G-rated channel, so I am paraphrasing. Anyway, McIntyre said that he's going to humble Roman at the Survivor Series. Randy Orton interrupts. Orton says he's thankful for being a 14-time champion. He mentions that, in fact, he's been fined more for putting his hands on Adam Pearce, but thankful that it didn't take anything major from him. He says he's been fined and suspended more than any other wrestler. He's broken rules, and he's still here because he's the greatest wrestler ever. Orton says he'd prove that he's the greatest of all time. McIntyre says that that this has been going on too long. It would end tonight. McIntyre is about to leave. Miz and Morrison make their way out. They interrupt. They yammer on for about how important the Miz is. Miz says that finally tonight he'd end up with the championship. McIntyre thought that's funny. Miz and Morrison claimed that Bray Wyatt didn't appear last week because he's afraid of the Miz. I mean, honestly, Miz came out in 2006, 7, somewhere in there. Why 13, 15 years later are we trying to make him a relevant character when he really hasn't been relevant as a mainstream character in 10 years, other than the fact that they do a reality show with his wife that gets ratings because he's married to a chick that's decent looking. I mean, I don't understand this resurgence of the Miz. I really don't. McIntyre threatens Miz and Morrison. They leave. Orton says that McIntyre has been given shots at the belt he doesn't deserve, and he says that it doesn't matter if Miz deserves a shot or not. Whether McIntyre won or not, he would be laughing all the way to the bank at the end of the night. And they replay all 8 times that Lana is put through a table by Nia Jax. So basically, we've killed the Lana character as a punishment for her husband going to a company that is making progress. That's what's really going on here. Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax approach Lana in the back. Lana says she deserves to be on the team, wants to prove it tonight. Baszler and Jax make fun of her, and they go on doing this during her, right before the match. 6-woman tag team match. Asuka, Mandy Rose, and Dana Brooke defeat Lana and Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler in 7 minutes. How they got 7 minutes out of these 6, I will never know. Mandy Rose has tape on her shoulder. she's taken out of the match pretty quickly. I think she came in injured, and they just put her in the match to give her a reason to get taken off TV for a bit. Lana wants to start. Baszler has nothing to do with that. Tags herself in, and Jax grabs Mandy Rose on the outside. Baszler, pretty aggressive, stomps the shoulder into the steel steps. Break about 90 seconds into the match, and Rose is gone when they return to the ring. Brooke makes a tag to Asuka. Asuka uses strikes on Baszler. Jax breaks up a cover. Brooke tries to help. Jax sends her out of the ring. Asuka tries to fight on her own. Baszler catches her and catches her with the Kikina clutch. Lana tags herself in. Lana enters the ring, kicks Asuka, gets a 2 count. Asuka kicks her in the head and put her in the Asuka lock for the submission win. So Lana continues to look weak. Jax clears the announce table. Baszler grabs Lana. Brooks and Asuka are leaving at this point and can be seen. And anyway, Jax teases that she's proud of Lana, grabs her and puts her through a table for a 9th time. So basically, we don't care about the product so much that we do the same angle week after week after week like it's a comedy sketch, except it's someone's career. I just, honestly, at this point, I almost think that they're trying to devalue their own talent so as to make the stock drop so they can sell the company. But that wouldn't even make sense because they'd lose money. But I can't come up with a logical reason why they do half the things they do. Anyway, the men's team argue in the back. AJ Styles implores them to stop. Matt Riddle starts using nicknames, which then leads to another argument. Styles says they're better than the SmackDown team on paper, but they need to focus. And they should have a tune-up match against Retribution. And this is said even though it was announced online already. Styles gives them all Raw t-shirts. Keith Lee wondered if the shirt's even going to fit him. Riddle gives the bodyguard a nickname. Styles asked Jordan if he'd been speaking to Riddle. I figured that wasn't possible because he doesn't speak English. Jordan said, of course he speaks English. And Styles is perplexed. And this is as though he has a lot of questions for him. So, in storyline, AJ Styles hires a bodyguard that he doesn't even know speaks his language or not, and doesn't figure this out on his own time, or on the way to an arena, or anything for several weeks. AJ Styles is apparently stupid. One of Bray Wyatt's puppets knocked down a Miz Funko Pop puppet thingy. This is just stupid. Anyway, Brooke is backstage. She's in panic over Mandy Rose and a shoulder injury. And she did dance with Asuka, so she's only concerned when it suits her, I guess. Charlie Caruso tries to interview her. Mia Yim attacks, finally giving her something to do. Officials run in to check on Dana Brooke. The Firefly Funhouse deal is here. Alexa Bliss says that Wyatt wants a match with The Miz tonight. Wyatt warns him that you don't want to see his bad side. And they cut to basically Bray Wyatt doing really bad training. Wyatt's in a spelling bee competition and spelled some words. He chucks a dart at the rabbit puppet and hits him. This is horrible. Hurt Business promo. MVP says Bobby Lashley would beat Sami Zayn. Shelton Benjamin said they would beat the New Day before beating the Street Profits on Sunday. MVP wants to put SmackDown out of business. Wouldn't it just be better for the wrestling business if WWE went out of business at this point? Anyway, New Day interrupts. Kofi Kingston calls them jerks and says their team name should be Jerk Business. and that was supposed to be funny. Woods didn't seem to think this is funny, but assured him the crowd would laugh if there was one, which there might be in the midpoint of 2021 at this point. Anyway, they said they would return, and it would in fact be the best version of the best versus the best on Sunday. There was a 7-minute match in the first hour. That was it. Anyway, second hour starts. Byron Saxton says that Rose and Brooks are injured and wouldn't be able to compete at Survivor Series. Not that anyone really cares. Anyhow, Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods defeat Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander with MVP and Bobby Lashley in a 16-minute and 48-second match. Long match, first long match they've had in a real while. Kingston goes for Boom's drop, but Benjamin catches him, gives him a buckle bomb. I thought they banned that move. Anyway, Benjamin and Alexander hit a Doomsday Device for a near fall. Hurt Business goes to work on Kingston. He comes back with a Tornado DDT, makes a tag to Woods. Woods goes nuts. Woods gives Alexander a missile dropkick for a near fall of his own. Kingston uses a flying foot stomp. Benjamin breaks up a cover there. Benjamin sends the New Day to the outside. Alexander uses a series of suicide dives. Why do these with no people? Kingston hits the barricade because he's rushing. Anyway, Alexander tries another one on Woods, but Alexander comes up short. They both do a double down at this point. Benjamin attacks Kingston and gives him an angle slam for near fall, harking back to days of Team Angle, I suppose. Benjamin super kicks Kingston, and Alexander nails a brain buster, but Woods breaks up the cover. Kingston super kicks Alexander and gave Benjamin a Trouble in Paradise. Kingston and Woods give Alexander the daybreak backbreaker foot stop combo for a near fall. New Day retains their belts. Not a big surprise there. Decent enough match, but at the same time, they haven't done a lot to really make this matter. Sheamus approaches McIntyre, who's still in street clothes. McIntyre is nervous because he wants to get ready for his match. Sheamus wants to talk to him. Sheamus recalls their friendships and says there's a gift. Sheamus gifts him a sword. McIntyre seems moved, and Sheamus wishes him well. Maybe they're going to go with Sheamus and McIntyre reuniting at some point. Who knows? Anyway, Retribution cuts a useless promo in the back. Mustafa Ali said the members of the team, of Team Raw, act differently from one another, but Retribution's all the same. He says Styles is going to go down with the ship, and that's just there. 8-man tag match. Retribution defeat Braun Strowman, Keith Lee, Sheamus, and Riddle. That's horrible, considering aren't they supposed to be important on Sunday at the pay-per-view that no one cares, at the network preview that no one cares about? Anyway, Riddle is all over Slapjack and T-Bar early, and Sheamus and Strowman don't really want to tag him because they're getting into an argument on the outside. Lee watched as Styles tries to get them working together. Strowman pushes Styles into Bing Jordan. They go to break. And then they basically seem to come back. Retribution works over Riddle. Following the commercial break, Ali makes fun of Styles and attacks Riddle. Riddle gives Slapjack a suplex and makes a tag to Lee. Ali is a legal man, but he runs away when he sees Lee tag in. Lee crushes Slapjack and then chucks him into T-Bar and Mace, and then he continues to use Slapjack as his own personal weapon, tosses the other guys to the outside. Ali makes a save by giving Lee a suicide dive. Isn't it like the fifth one of the show? Anyway, Ali makes a cover for near fall. Strowman goes nuts on T-Bar and Mace. Outside the ring, Slapjack runs away, but runs into a brogue kick by good old Sheamus. Lee chokeslams Ali. Sheamus tags in, and he sets up the brogue kick. Strowman tagged in, and he sets up power slam. But Sheamus goes after Ali. Sheamus and Strowman argue. Riddle tags himself in. That leads to even more arguing. Ali shoves Riddle into Strowman and cradles him for the pinfall. Retribution, who is not on the pay-per-view as of this moment, at least to the best of my knowledge, win a match that doesn't matter in the long run. Awesome booking if you're like 3. Anyway, and they all... Ali runs away, celebrates with his team. Styles enters the ring and they're arguing. Lee watches all of this from ringside, despondent that he signed with WWE except for the money. Nikki Cross walks through the back and she's looking for Alexa Bliss. Sarah approaches her to interview her why she's looking for Bliss. Cross said she needed to get Bliss away from Wyatt, as if that's going to happen. Cross left and Sarah finds Jeff Hardy, who's ripping down wanted posters that were posted by Elias. Hardy threatened to go after him and continue the feud that doesn't end. Yes, it goes on and on, my friends. Anyway, Hardy found Elias after the break. Elias asked if there was anything to report about the accident. Hardy told him he didn't hit him with a car. Hardy shoved him against the locker wall, and he said he's been proven innocent. He threatened to do worse than hit him with a car. Bray Wyatt with Alexa Bliss defeats the Miz with John Morrison in just under 5 minutes. Miz cuts a pointless pre-match promo recalling the history with Wyatt. He said he didn't need to fight and suggested they work together against Orton and McIntyre fighting later tonight. Bliss comes in. She says he says no. He, of course, being the Fiend. Cross storms out, begs Bliss to leave with her. Bliss slaps her and they brawl until official separates them. Wyatt's Funhouse music hit. He enters wearing a sweater. Bliss is thrilled and she walks down the ramp with him. This goes into the 3rd hour. Match begins. After the break, Wyatt offers a handshake. Miz kicks the hand away. And then they attack Morrison. Morrison gives a cheap shot behind the ref's back. Bliss comes in out of nowhere. And Miz, being distracted, allows Wyatt to attack. Miz comes back with a double axe handle and a DDT for 1 count. Miz follows with some kicks. He misses the last kick. Wyatt comes up with a clothesline and a Uranage. And then Morrison grabs Wyatt's leg. Bliss leaps off the steps at him, and they both fly over the barricade. This distracts Wyatt. So Miz hits running corner clothesline. Wyatt no-sells this. Hits the Sister Abigail for the pinfall win. This is 5 minutes of my life I cannot get back. Bliss emerged, basically uninjured from behind the barricade. Morrison does not. Wyatt and Bliss stroll up the ramp, and the lights turn red, and the Fiend appears on screen, and that's that. Adam Pearce informs Caruso and Rose that Rose and Brooks are off the Survivor Series teams, and their replaces are Lacey Evans and Peyton Royce. Gee, let's downgrade the team even worse. Okay, so Caruso interviews Asuka about facing Sasha Banks. Asuka's excited. They plug Undertaker's final farewell at Survivor Series. And they could have pushed this much better, but they didn't. Anyhow, Angel Garza cuts a promo. He says he can protect anyone better than their boyfriend. Jax asks Baszler why she hit Rose so hard. Baszler reminds her that she put Lana through a table every week for over 2 months. Baszler said they don't need anyone. Evans and Royce show up, and Royce said they should plan strategies and strategize together. Jax couldn't believe that they were there, so they left. And this women's division is abysmal. Anyway, Drew McIntyre is your new WWF champion in a match with Randy Orton. Just over 24 minutes. McIntyre enters wearing a blue and black kilt, holding a sword that Sheamus had given him earlier. McIntyre uses some big moves early. Spinebuster. Orton grabs his belt, and he fakes leaving. Less than 2 minutes into the match, McIntyre goes after him. Orton tries to run away again. Orton's about to leave. Pierce comes out and basically announced it was a no countout, no disqualification match. They trade shots after the break, and Orton hits a backbreaker. Orton then goes for the steel chair, drives the edge of the chair into McIntyre's jaw. Orton tries to win several times. McIntyre kicks out aggressively while still pretending to be in some degree of pain. Anyway, Orton responds with a back suplex onto the edge of the barricade. Ouch. Nails McIntyre with the steps. McIntyre comes back, goes after Orton until he gets thumbed in the eye again. Orton then follows with back suplexes on top of the replaced announce table. Somehow they dragged another one out there. Orton tries another one. McIntyre fights him off and does back suplexes on the table himself. McIntyre goes for the Claymore kick. Orton dodges. McIntyre falls on the announce table, which leads them to another commercial break. McIntyre hits overhead suplexes and a neck breaker. And then there's a superplex off the middle rope by Orton. This leads to some fake chants if this is awesome. It's not really awesome if you've seen it 1,000 times before. Anyway, McIntyre punches Orton off the apron through a table, and the table had been set up by Orton earlier. This leads to a near fall. Orton's back is bleeding from the table spot. McIntyre tries for the Claymore kick. Orton counters with a power slam. Orton follows this up with a draping DDT. And then McIntyre comes back with a Claymore kick and a pinfall win. He is your new WWE champion. Probably the best match on Raw in months. McIntyre being champion for a second time is a good thing. McIntyre reigns in at the Survivor Series, probably not. But the Survivor Series is a lame duck pay-per-view anyway, so we can't be all that surprised, really, can we? Anyway, that's your Raw report. I'll be back with AEW Dark, Impact, and Dynamite, and NXT, and some new Superstar stuff. Lots of content tonight. Stay tuned.